With the new Hunger Games just around the corner, we are continuing our retrospective look back at the Hunger Games movies. And now we're up to Mockingjay Part 1, which is the third movie. And we're going to really dive into this movie because this is the one that really shifts a lot of the focus away from the actual Hunger Games itself and shifts into the rebellion, into the civil war that is about to break out between the capital and the resistance. And that's really what this movie is all about. It's all about creating this image around the Mockingjay to present towards the other districts to get them on your side, in your alliance, to take down the capital. Now, this is movie to me, I think does things very, very well. And what I think it does really well is the build up, the suspense. Building up this whole idea of the districts, having enough of the capital ruling over them and deciding what they do. And they do a really good job in showcasing you just how evil the capital is in this instant, in this movie, by showing you what they did to District 12. And I will never forget the scene, like one of the most gut wrenching scenes in all of the Hunger Games is that moment where Katniss walks up the hill of rubble, gets to the top, and just looks down, and it's just a body of just dead people, just skeletons burnt, just like this whole graveyard of the outcome of this bombing that happened in District 12. It's just absolutely insane. And that shows you just how far the capital is willing to go to destroy this image, this whole, symbol of hope, the symbol of the resistance, which is the Mockingjay, and just what they're capable of doing. And for me, that to me was just one of those moments where you're just like, okay, we are shifting away from the Hunger Games itself into this whole entire new section of this franchise that is going down this dark path of, people rising up and overthrowing their capital that is just absolutely rinsing them of everything. And it was just one of those moments where you just look at it, you're just like, damn, that capital needs to go. So I really love how they built up that, and the whole entire movie is about them building this resistance. Getting Katniss, trying to get her on board to be the symbol, to be the one that brings everyone together. Shooting the propaganda stuff, and then it just doesn't feel right when they're shooting it. It's like it's just not her. And then I love it when Hamish comes in, and Hamish, tells them like what made you follow Katniss in the first place? What made you feel motivational, inspired, wanting to stand up to the capital? What made you feel like that? And it was because Katniss did what she had to do. She didn't do anything that was told to her. She didn't have lines or anything. She did it out of, her own emotional state, like how she felt. And that's when they put her into District 8, where she goes and sees the hospital and everything like that. This is where you start to see her start to be like, wow, I need to step up and be this symbol for them. And I love that idea. I love getting her to be that symbol, and it's really good. They did a fantastic job with that, and with the Katniss character in this movie as well. I feel like they developed her as well because she now has all this responsibility on her shoulders. She is the face of the rebellion. She is the one that everyone is looking to, that is going to go face to face with President Snow. That's the idea, and it's done really, really well. Another character that I think they did freaking awesome justice to, and it's about time because we didn't really get to see much of him in the first two, is Gale. Gale really comes in as this hero of this movie. He really does. And you know what? He's one of the most underrated characters in this franchise, especially after you see him in the first one and then the second one. This guy, he's like always there for Katniss, always there looking after people, always looking after her family. There's moments in here as well where he goes and gets her sister to come down and like saves her and puts her into the shelter as well with everyone. Like he just does it. He goes in to, the capital, and he's the first one to put his hand up to go save Peter and the rest of the tributes and that, and the victors, to save them and bring them back. Like Gale just has this beautiful arc. And when he's telling that story about like in District 12, how 915, I think it was, of them got out of 10,000. And he is sitting there reliving it, retelling the scenario, and explaining why the bodies, all those skeletons there, are there. Like explaining it into detail. Like, you know, we ran through here and then the bombing coming, these people just couldn't get out and they were burnt alive. And then he starts to say, like, maybe I could have done this. Maybe I could have carried this person. Maybe I could have carried more kids. I could put them on my shoulder. Like, he's just, you know, blaming himself for not being able to save more people. But he's a guy that saved 915 people, though. Like, it could have been 10,000 out of 10,000 gone. But he was able to get, like, it's just a beautiful character arc he goes on. And as much as he loves Katniss, he just sees how much she cares for Peter as well. And he's willing to take that step back and just do what is the right thing. And I feel like that was a great character moment for him. And he's becoming one of your favorite characters as you're progressing. Finnick, on the other hand, they kind of sideline him in this movie a lot. Like, that's what I loved about Catching Fire, was his character, bringing him in. And he was just so infectious when he was on screen. And he just was so cool. And you're just like, man, this guy is like the bee's knees, man. This is the guy we want to follow. And then in this one, he kind of like, yes, I get it. His girlfriend is being held captive in that, but he's very much off screen for most of this movie. He has little scenes here and there. And I feel like they just didn't utilize him a lot in this movie. But again, remember, this is based on the books. So, and I get it. He's not a main character, but I just feel like I would have liked a bit more of him in here, because I just feel like it was, you know, would have been cool to see him. But then you have the stuff that's going on with Peter. And each time you see him on screen, when the Capitol are forcing him to say certain things to go against and to try and turn Katniss, you know, into this person that's going to be like, we need to cease fire. Like, we're not doing it. Each time you see him on screen, you start to see him start to, you know, look different. And you're instantly thinking, okay, what is going on here with Peter? And, you know, it makes total sense to why the Capitol would do this with Peter, to try and turn it on Katniss, to use him as a weapon. And then when you get to the end where they bring him back and he's just all beaten, battered, bruised, tortured, skinny, just, you know, starvation. And then he goes and turns on Katniss and like starts to choke her and that. And then you find out that they've been using the stuff from one of the first movies, the Tracker Jacker venom, and turning it into like this sort of serum thing that they put into him, torturing him and using fear and trying to manipulate the memories and the idea of Katniss in his head to relating her to fear, so that every time he sees her, he basically becomes a humanized weapon for them. That is why they let him go through, because he's going to go there, kill her, and kill the rebellion right then and there. And so you see that, and then when you get to the end scene, you see him all tied up into the chair, and you're just seeing him like losing his mind and that, and you feel sorry for Peter. You do, because look, when you first meet him, like obviously he's playing this character for the Capitol to be like, look, I need to survive at all costs and stuff, but in order to do that, I need to pretend to be, you know, with Katniss and that, even though he does love her. But he's got to do all this thing. And like, I don't think he wants to force her into the relationship, but it's just something they have to do in order to survive. And then when you see him here, and now he's being broken mentally and physically, it's just like, man, you feel for the guy. You really do. And look, you know, this triangle is going on with Gale, Peter, and Katniss, but you kind of feel bad for all of them because they've all been put in this situation. So it's done really, really well. It's not like a love triangle where you're like, oh man, can't stand this person or this person. You see the reasoning for each of them and why they're all going there. Then you also have, you know, the stacked cast in this movie. I didn't realize it was absolutely stacked. I think there was one point that like this room was just full of all these people. Like, I didn't realize Mahershala Ali was in there. Did not realize that at all. Like, that's just absolutely insane. Then you had, who else? Natalie Dormer is in here as well. She makes an appearance. Foggy makes an appearance in here. If you guys have seen Daredevil, you know who I'm talking about. You've got the Madam President, who's in here as well. Julianne, I think it is, or something like that. She's in there. Then you have like, oh, it just continues on. There's just so many people. I didn't realize they were in this movie. It's just absolutely insane. And like I'm forgetting like more people. It's just absolutely completely stacked. I didn't realize that. But I think this movie shot beautifully as well. I think the scenes with the whole, rubble, the destruction and everything like that, I thought they captured that brilliantly and made you feel like you're in a war-torn sort of situation. Then you have the dam sequence as well, which I thought was shot beautifully, and it just was absolutely one of those moments where you kind of like, damn, that's a big blow, and you felt that, and like you just see the water come out, and I thought it was shot beautifully as well. There's so many moments here that worked really, really well for me, revolving around the characters, the story. You know, there is one moment where I'm kind of like scratching my head, and that was when Katniss fell on the stairs and everyone started walking over. I was like, she didn't really sustain that much injury. Didn't make sense, but hey, that's just one of those things where you kind of just like, okay, we'll just put that down to plot armor. Hey, we'll just put that down to MC plot armor, main character plot armor. That's what it is. The suit, though, let's talk about the suit. The Mockingjay suit itself is absolutely awesome. It looks so cool, man. I want a male version of it. Like, just give me a male version of it. It looks so sick. And what I do love as well is when they have that, it's designed by the guy who designed all her other stuff that we saw die in the previous one. So this was his final thing, because he was part of this rebellion as well. And this was his final design that he made for her when she was ready to take up the Mockingjay symbol. And I love that, because this guy, man, he was absolutely unreal making all these dresses and that, and like starting the Mockingjay thing. And to have him there with that suit to finish it off, it was just absolutely fantastic. So I really like this movie as well. I can't believe, man, just how good the Hunger Games really were. Like, these movies were actually decent, very decent. So for me, I enjoy this movie quite a lot when I watch it. It's not as action-backed as the next one that we're going to see, but I feel like the story and the whole rebellion building up and gradually, getting bigger and bigger, and then, making this conflict between them and the capital feel like it's going to happen, and just build that tension up to the point where we now go, it's about to tip over now. Like, it was here, it was at boiling point, and now it's gone beyond that. It's about to go, it's massive. Like, it's going to be insane. So yeah, so I liked it. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys love it? Does it still hold up for you guys? Let me know down in the comment section below. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Till then, stay safe and peace out.